What's up YouTube? It is Ben with Bearded Spruce, back for another product review. If you've been following me for any amount of time, I'm working on a few different projects. One is a 1972 Airstream. That project is what I'm going to call a long hauler. Started a few years ago and still making progress. You can check out that series up in the link above, also link to the series in the video links below. Some other projects that I've been working on are just some stuff around the house. You know, garden beds, barn doors, all kinds of kind of modern takes on some projects, some Adirondack chair build, and a few other things that I have in the work. So today we're actually reviewing this guy right here. I have my nifty notes back here, so if I'm glancing down, that's what I'm looking at. But this is the EcoFlow Delta. It is 1260 watt hours of capacity with an output of 1800 watts. It does have an additional expenditure of watts for, you know, the surge part of it, but I'm not going to get into that today. Today's actually going to be more of a hands-on, my thoughts after using it a few times review. It's not going to be a technical review with all the stats. I'll link to their website below, as well as an Amazon affiliate link if you want to purchase it. If you choose to purchase it through the Amazon affiliate link or anything else through that affiliate link channel, it will actually give me a little tiny portion of whatever you purchase on Amazon, and I greatly appreciate all of you that have been doing that. Definitely makes me feel like you're enjoying my content and makes me want to continue to make more videos. So really quick off the bat, this is not a paid advertisement. I paid my own money for this product on Amazon, just like the link below. So this is 100% honest review, all of my feels out on the table in front of you, just like this product. So let's dive into it. So first of all, what's in the box? What's in the box is the device itself in this fancy, somewhat useless kind of wrapping. We have an AC adapter, we have a DC kind of car adapter, and then the thing that's missing on this table is the solar charger adapter that I'll show you in a little bit, but that is included as well. Let me do a quick unwrapping and we'll get into some more details. Something I really like about this, like I said, somewhat useless bag, is for ease of getting it in and out. It does have this zipper on the side, so it especially makes it a lot easier to get out of the box or out of the packaging. So let me twist this a little bit so you can see, and I'll actually turn it on. So we just got back from a camping trip. We did some boondocking in this new project of ours, a 1982. It's about a 16-foot box, dual axle. It's going to be a lot of fun to kind of tweak and add some character to, and just enjoy our land up in the mountains. So we just got back from 3 nights, 4 days stay. And this thing was a beast. We charged our iPhones, an iPad, Apple Watches. It ran the entire camper for us, so we didn't drain our battery. I'll get into the whole setup in a bit once I kind of go through the review, but needless to say, this thing is awesome. I totally suggest getting one of these. So let's talk about charging really quick. So I first got it before the last trip. I plugged it into the wall. It, as advertised, took about an hour and a half, just over an hour and a half to fully charge. It is wicked fast, and then it was ready to go. Once it was charged, I turned it off and stuck it in the truck, and it's about a 2.5 hour drive from here to our land. It didn't discharge anything. I didn't really expect it to, but that's just something that I wasn't sure about. Another option for charging is using this adapter for the DC outlet or a cigarette plug. So you could plug it into a vehicle as you're on the road in between locations. But the biggest bonus for this guy compared to a gas generator is it charges from solar power. You're probably watching this thinking, I know, that's why I'm watching this review, but when I say it charges from solar power, it is so much faster than I expected it to charge. So we have two 100 watt Renogy solar panels that I installed on the roof. Those are also down below in affiliate links if you want to check those out, and all the equipment that goes along with those to connect it to this guy. Then I drilled a hole in the roof and dropped the wires down from the solar panels and then connected it to the solar charge cables, the connectors. There's a male and female. I don't want to say is impossible to mess up, but it's pretty dumb proof, just connecting everything. And then you can see on this side, you have the solar charge input, you have the AC plug right there, and then actually the DC plugs into the same outlet as the solar panels as well. So that's a dual usage little plug here. So you plug in the solar panels to this guy and it starts charging right away. I would say we ran the camper on this, so it's basically like we were on shore power the entire weekend. Could run all the lights without draining the battery. We could run the water pump, the water heater. Our fridge is actually out of commission right now, but we could have been using that. It basically, all the outlets work just like you're on shore power when you're plugged into this guy. So we plug everything in, charge our devices, watches, phones, all that kind of stuff overnight. We actually used one throughout the night for a sound machine, and so it was draining as it was charging. And we wake up in the morning and it was about 88% at that point. And as the sun started rising, we kind of started making coffee. It started charging back up, and by the time the afternoon storms rolled in, I'd say 4-ish hours, 5 hours at the most, it was fully charged back at 100% capacity. And then we were ready for, hanging out that afternoon, cooking, playing cards, whatever we wanted to do. We never had to second guess ourselves because we had this guy and those two solar panels. So again, just super impressed by this guy. So let's get into some things you can charge and plug into this guy. So on the front panel where the digital display, I'll pop that back up, you have 4 USBs, 2 normal ones and then 2 fast charge, as well as 1 USB-C here and 1 over on this side. So altogether, just from this front panel, you can charge 6 devices at once with no problem, which is pretty awesome. Basically a whole family worth of phones, depending on the size of your family. The one awesome feature about this front panel and the back panel that I'll get into next is you can turn them on or off independently. So if I wanted to make sure nothing was being used on the back panel and I just wanted to focus on charging our phones and our watches, you can just turn this guy on and there's a little LED light and it showcases that these are now live and ready to go, which I think is a nice added bonus for this EcoFlow Delta. Then on the back is where, in my opinion, the real power comes in. These 6 outlets are pretty awesome. They work the same way. You just turn on, this little LED light and these are ready to start charging anything you plugged into them. The other thing that I haven't really used yet is this DC plug, but it is there in case you need it. Needless to say, with all those outlets on the front and the back, it is a pretty impressive product in that itself. If we just wanted to plug an extension cord here and power a bunch of devices and then plug 6 more devices on the other side, what I'm calling the front, that in itself is super cool. You can keep everything charged for a long time and continue to recharge it through solar or through your car or whatever you want to do. The real power, in my opinion, comes in when you can plug in using this adapter. So your 30 amp plug from your camper goes right here, and then this turns it into the typical 110 plug. So once we plugged in this guy and turned on this side to be available, then all of a sudden your camper goes from, you know, boondocking to pretty much exactly like you are plugged into shore power. Of course, there are some limitations on how long that will last, but if you did what we did, is, you know, the typical using some lights, using the water pump, using, you know, some different device charging and that kind of stuff, the hot water heater, the fridge, whatever you're powering, you can use this guy to do one of two things. You can act like you're on shore power and just use that stuff until it drains this battery, or you can use this to kind of recharge your battery system, which we have one Battle-Born battery on board right now that we kind of upgraded from the typical lead acid battery. And so we would use this to both charge all of our devices, sometimes turn this whole place into a shore power camper, so it's much less like we're boondocking. And then it would also charge our battery on top of that, so then we never had to feel like we were really in lack of any power. So let's talk about pricing. The retail price MSRP on their website is $13.99. I haven't seen it for that expensive, including on their website yet. They seem to always be running a sale on their website and then also on Amazon. I purchased this on sale for $11.99. And then the accessories, I'll link to all these below so you can get a setup just like ours. The accessories are 200 watt Renogy panels, a pack of Z mounts, 2 packs of Z mounts actually, a waterproof cord keeper, a 30 amp to 110 adapter just like this. A lot of us have these anyway, so you probably have one laying around for when you're not boondocking or you're just setting it up in front of your house or something like that if you're like us. A 10-foot or longer, depending on your situation, a 10-foot set of solar cables. The final price for this entire solar setup for a 200 watt system that was more than enough for our 4-day, 3-night with cloudy conditions some of the day, if not all of some of the days, was $14.59. So for less than $1,500 you can have an entire solar system. Of course, this doesn't take into consideration if you want to upgrade your battery to a Battle-Born battery like mine, which actually brings me to a different topic. So the Battle-Born battery I got on sale for $9.49, I believe. It was a scratch and dent Black Friday sale. They do an awesome one. It's either Black Friday or Cyber Monday. I'm kind of toying with the idea of replacing that battery, and I got a Vitron solar charger as well as a few other Vitron things. Total for the whole setup that I'm planning in the Airstream is close to $5,000, whereas you could get a few of these and a few more panels for solar and have, in my opinion, an easier system to maintain and know the levels. And you can buy backup batteries for the Delta system. So after this weekend, I was a huge fan of this. I think if you have, you know, around $1,000, go ahead and just get one of these. The added benefit of having this around charged, you know, just in a closet in case we have a power outage that happens every once in a while in Colorado is another huge added benefit. So all in all, the big question is, would I suggest this product for the everyday camper? I think, like a lot of other reviewers, I agree with, if you're doing full-time camping and boondocking, I'm not sure if this is a foolproof system for you. They're about to come out with a bigger version that's heavier and I think a lot more powerful and a lot more versatile. So I might get that one to see how that one is versus this one. But for the everyday camper that's like always on the road, I can't say that I would definitely buy this. But for someone like us that boondocks for a long weekend, you know, 4 days, 5 days, even a week at a time, I think this thing is perfect. I don't know the lifespan of it. This was, you know, I've played with it a few times and then it was our first camping trip. Maybe I'll do a review after the camping season when we have some more hours under our belt with this guy. But I was extremely impressed and think that it is definitely something that you could consider to build a pretty inexpensive and robust solar system for your camper. The other thing I wanted to mention in terms of usage is my in-laws have a Winnebago that has an air conditioner on top. Our camper currently a fantastic fan, which is more than enough for our mountain, you know, excursions. But I was curious while we were up there before we left, you know, you've seen videos and you've heard that it can run air conditioners, but I wanted to see for myself. So we plugged it in with an adapter just like this and the whole 30 amp service plugged into it, and the air conditioner started right up, and the readout was something around 2 hours to run their entire camper, including the condenser was on and that kind of stuff. When the condenser turned off, obviously it bumped up to like 6 or 7 hours. That would obviously kind of fluctuate as things are turning on and off, but overall super impressed. So let me show you the installation that I have, and then we'll wrap this video up. All right, so here it is plugged into the solar panels. You can see it's only getting about 20 watts, right around 19-20 watts right now. It's a pretty cloudy day and I'm right next to a huge tree that's shading us. When it was full blast, it was over 100 watts of input, and I can probably get a little bit better than that if I go clean the solar panels. But just to you get an idea of the setup, so you have the solar charge adapter, and then if you can see this in the dark closet, these are the two wires coming from the solar panels. So I have those plugged in and then just snake through a little hole in the ceiling. And then you can see that this is the camper plug. When I plug this in, you see that all the lights I have turned on and a few other appliances in here. I'm using about 129, 130 watts of output with about 20 still coming in. So all of a sudden it went from using the battle-born battery or whatever battery you're using to being on shore power. And so now I can run this camper for about 7 hours, which is pretty low because it was only at 77% charge, but I can run everything that I have running right now for about 7 to 8 hours depending on usage and all that kind of stuff. So now that I've gotten through all of the technical details and all the awesome things about this, I would say there is one thing that it's lacking that I would love to see and maybe EcoFlow has already thought about this, but I would love to see a Bluetooth app that I can review the stats of what's going on without opening our closet and peeking inside to see all the different stats of input and output, and as well as the percentage of battery. So EcoFlow, if you're watching this, that's my only con, is that I have to go hop into my camper wherever it's being stored to look at the details of what's going on instead of opening an app. If you can do it, it would be pretty awesome. So thank you so much for joining. I appreciate all of you guys watching this video. Feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get some more of these videos out, but working full-time and working on all these projects is a lot, but I will continue to do videos like this, as well as updates on the Airstream. I'll try to film anything that I'm adding or adapting on the camper that I'm sitting in right now. And some more exciting things are coming soon with our family. We're potentially building a mountain house, so stay tuned, and I will try my best to keep you guys updated on that process and just general things that we're doing and enjoying. Thanks for joining, and we will see you next time.